Hey, this is Chad with Drawn and Cornered. It is November 5th, 2021, and here is your news for the day. First off, Joe Biden's mandates for employers of more than 100 employees has finally come down through OSHA. The directives, the regulations have all been handed out. Over the next 2 months, you'll see various milestones for implementation, coordination, and such for testing and administrative side, all kind of coming into being. January 4th is the ultimate deadline where businesses are starting to be susceptible to fines and penalties for not getting their employees vaccinated. And this can be up to $14,000 for unintentional violations if you just administratively miss it or didn't catch a problem somewhere along the lines, to $70,000 for intentional or full-on, recognized violations. If you just refuse to do it, that's a $70,000 violation per instance. So if you've got 100 employees, $70,000 per pop if you're not getting them vaccinated. It'll crush any company, and that's the intent. The intent of the rule is to make it so heavy-handed, so extreme that no business would dare fight it, would dare challenge it, because they risk just being bankrupted immediately. Now, this is where the major problem comes in. As you see, public sector employees have been excused from this. Part of that reason is because public sector is very important for Democrats and for Joe Biden specifically. He has to keep those unions in his back pocket. These are traditionally people that have followed Joe Biden, have followed the Democratic Party, have given an enormous amount of money to the Democratic Party. They're off the hook. But private companies, they're fully in here. Other issue is also that this will be challenged in court, probably all the way up to the Supreme Court at some point, as to whether or not OSHA was ever directed to do this type of thing, ever had this type of power, whether or not you can do this from an executive position as opposed to a legislative position. This is not something that Congress came through. This is not a law that has been passed. This is simply something that Joe Biden has pushed out from the executive branch, and nothing in the Constitution allows anything even remotely close to this. So hopefully they'll be challenged. The other place that this should definitely be challenged, and I am not in a situation where I have a company of more than 100 employees or am an employee of a company that has more than 100 employees. So I'm kind of out of the loop on this one, but every company out there who is under this directive should fight it. We want this to go the way of the Southwest pilots. We want this to go the way of the Chicago cops, where enough resistance was put down and enough people put the line in the sand saying, I will not comply, to force change. And we need companies to do this. We need individual employees to do this. This needs to be an immediate backlash in order to grab hold of the power that is being stripped away very quickly and in a huge swing towards big government. This is not something that the federal government has any sort of mandate to do. This is not something, even in statewide, this would be difficult. They have the ability to do this. This is written into constitutions along the lines when it comes to states and the protection of its populace for viruses. Nothing from the federal government. And this is an authoritarian, tyrannical swing from Joe Biden. And if you ever wanted to know whether or not he was going to be a moderate or he's going to be a hard progressive, tyrannical, top-down, federal government rules all type of leader, this tells you exactly where he is, or at least where his people are, if you believe he's not there mentally at all, which I think an argument can be made for that. This is the moment to stand up. This is the moment to say we will not do this. This is the moment where we want to see that backlash hit hard enough that the Democratic Party no longer attempts to push any further and immediately snakes backwards on this prospect, because this is the beginning of the end if this is allowed to go through. From here, anything can be pushed down to anything. This is a total takeover of the way businesses operate, the line that has been drawn between government and private business broadly. This is the end if this goes through. We will see if it goes through. This all coming on the heels of, again, COVID significantly dropping. Not that you shouldn't be scared of it every moment of every day, but dropping since September 12th precipitously. Deaths, hospitalizations, cases, everything has been dropping. You're going to see cases go up again in different areas that start going inside because of the cold. This is a communicable aerosol disease that if you're in close quarters with a lot of people is going to get passed. You're going to see it happen in any sort of place that's starting to hit fall and winter. You're going to see spikes. But everything else, all of the cases, all of the problems that you would typically associate with a disease are going down. That has a downward trajectory, and yet we're pushing more and more aggressive measures to battle a less and less problematic pandemic. Not, again, YouTube, I want to be very clear about this, not that you shouldn't be scared. Every moment of every day, every waking hour should still be terrified of this disease. Again, this also falls on the heels of Fauci appearing in front of Congress again. His exchange with Rand Paul yesterday, talking about gain of function and where that definition lies with the NIH, which Fauci was at the head of, when that definition was changed so that gain of function was no longer applied to what was happening in Wuhan and the money that we were giving to Wuhan in order to be able to take care of gain of function research. All of this came to a head. I urge you to find that exchange and see just what it is that we've been fed from Fauci since Jump Street on this. It's all a shakedown. It's all a lie. Everything that Fauci has said when it comes to where this virus has originated, what sort of culpability the states have in it, the NIH has in it, he has in it personally, all of it has been fabricated. All of it is a lie. There's absolutely no reason why Fauci should still be remaining in his position. If they give him the grace to allow him to resign, I would say that's a bridge too far. He should immediately be fired, tossed out, ripped off of every cover that he's ever been on, tossed out of every TV show. He has lost 100% of his credibility. He deserves nothing moving forward. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the Kyle Rittenhouse case is coming forward. We're getting prosecution and defense talking about various different elements of that night when Kyle Rittenhouse shot 3 people, 2 of them fatally, and the circumstances surrounding whether or not he should have been there, what type of position he was in to flee, if he should have fled, if it was a self-defense shot, if it was cold-blooded murder. All of these things are coming to a head, and the case itself will be pretty extreme as far as the verdict coming down. Both sides are extremely polarized on this. I would argue this is probably the highest level case we've seen since George Floyd that dealt with all of the Black Lives Matter, the rioting, who's coming forward, who has the righteous angle on this and such. So it'll be interesting to see what happens as this case comes to its conclusion, probably over the next couple of weeks. But keep an eye on that. We're getting conflicting stories between prosecution and defense, as you would expect, about the motivations of that night where Kyle Rittenhouse shot 3 and killed 2. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, critiques, definitely leave those in the comment section down below. If you like this sort of thing that Drawn and Cornered is bringing you with a little bit of news, a little bit of analysis every day, just a little bite, a little morsel to start your day off, definitely subscribe to the channel, hit that bell so you get notifications every time we release a video, which is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We will see you on the weekends if anything big happens. This is our Friday show, so get a couple of days off. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again on Monday.